We are here. We are now live across YouTube. It is a lovely day today. We have such glorious weather. It really does feel as if autumn is in the air. Here we are then. We are back together. English Addict coming to you live from the birthplace of the English language, which is, of course, you know where it is. We all know where it is. It is England. We are back together again. It's so nice to be with you once more. Hi everybody, this is Mr. Duncan in England. How are you today? Are you okay? I hope so. Are you happy? I hope you are feeling good today. I am with you slightly late, for which I apologise. So many things going on at the moment. I wish I could explain all of the things that are happening at the moment here. But it would take me all of this live stream to tell you what is going on. My name is Duncan. We will do that first of all. And I live in England. I talk about the English language. You might say that I am an English addict. I am one of those crazy English addicts. And I have a feeling we are getting more and more of you every single week, so it is very nice to see you here. Everyone is welcome. Can I first of all mention something very important? This is a very important thing to mention straight away, and it is something concerning what is happening at the moment with the clocks, with the time. So can I just say that the clocks in the UK have gone back by 1 hour. Just in case you are wondering why I am on at a different time. For me, it isn't a different time. For me, it is the same time as usual. But of course, last night we said goodbye to British summertime. Goodbye, goodbye, British summertime. We will not see summer until 2025. It has now gone. However, we are having the most glorious day here in the UK. So for those who have not changed their clocks, this might seem as if I'm coming on at a different time. Anyway, I'm here. It's 2 p.m. UK time. And it is not British summertime. You might notice over there it says British summertime. It isn't anymore. Goodbye. Goodbye, British summertime. We almost got to know you, but not quite. So now you know what is going on as far as that is concerned when we are talking about time. A lot of people, of course, hate it. They don't like the fact that we have to keep changing the clocks at the start of summer and at the end of summer. A lot of people are quite annoyed about it, to be honest. Hello to the live chat. It's lovely to have you here. We have so much to talk about. So many things are going on at the moment. This week, should I say on Thursday, we will be celebrating my anniversary of all this starting. So it was 18 years ago on Thursday. So next Thursday, and I suppose this is also a good opportunity to tell you that we are not with you on Wednesday. There is no live stream on Wednesday. However, there will be a special live stream on Thursday celebrating the actual day of the creation of this YouTube channel. So my YouTube channel will be 18 years old on Thursday. I will be here on Thursday Also, Mr. Steve will be here on Thursday as well. So for those wondering, we are both here on Thursday celebrating the 18th anniversary of my YouTube channel. Way back in 2006 is when all of this started. So at the beginning, I was simply making video lessons. And then later, many years later, in fact, it was 10 years later when I started doing my live streams. So I've been doing my live streams for 8 years, and I've been making video lessons for 18 years. So that is all happening on Thursday. There is no live stream on Wednesday, but there will be one on Thursday as we celebrate 18 years of doing this. By the way, if you want captions, you can have captions. There are live captions. You can follow those very simply by pressing C on your keyboard. If you are watching on your big computer or your laptop, you can activate them simply by pressing C. So it is possible to have live captions. Also later on, you will have recorded captions as well. Lots of things to help you learn English. And that is the reason why we are here. We are here to learn English from your point of view, and from my point of view, teach English. By the way, I should tell you that yes, he is here today. I will give you your little notification now. In around about 15 minutes, we have Mr. Steve. Mr. Steve will be here today. He is feeling much better, and he is in a very good mood because he's decided to take 1 week off from work. So Mr. Steve is having a short break from his job, and that is the reason why he is joining us on Thursday. Don't forget, Thursday, 2 p.m. UK time, a very special live stream for my 18th anniversary on YouTube. I did mention the live chat. Hello to the live chat. It's nice to see you here today. Oh, a lot of people are joining us already. Can I say hello to the champion? You are at the top once more. I know last Wednesday you were not at the top, but today you are. Congratulations, Vitas. Vitas is first once again on the live chat, and it is true, it is official. You have the fastest finger in the world. Oh my goodness. Can I show you the view out the window? Look at that. That is the view right now looking outside. It is the most glorious autumn day. You can see the sun is shining. Also, the trees are now beginning to have their lovely autumn glow as well. And I would say today the temperature is around 12 Celsius. That is what we have today with the weather. And for those who are asking about the camera, Mr. Duncan, is that camera really live? Well, I will show the camera to you. There it is. So there is the camera at the moment in my living room, pointing out of the window and showing you the lovely scenery today. So for those wondering what the camera looks like, there it is. That is what it is. That is how that wonderful outdoor picture is being brought to you right now. Can I say hello to Palmyra? Hello, Palmyra. Hello, Beatrice. How are you, Beatrice? Are you having a lovely time? I believe you are having some rest and relaxation. I hope you are having a very nice time with your break a lot of people are taking breaks. Here in the UK, a lot of people are having breaks, short holidays, because at the moment the children, all of the kids, are off school with half term. So a lot of children are off from school and many people are taking short breaks. Can I say a big thank you? A lovely thank you. And this is something that I often mention at the end of my live streams. Can I say a big thank you to Giovanni Romano for your lovely donation? And thank you very much. I believe that is a little gift for me, for my work, to help it continue. Thank you very much, Giovanni, for your lovely donation. And of course, don't forget, I do all of this for free. I do it with no charge. I know a lot of YouTube publishers these days, they do charge their viewers to watch their content. Here, it is all 100% free. I don't charge. There is no charge. But, of course, if you want to make a donation to help all of this continue, because it might not look like it, but this is a very complicated thing to do. And I spend most of my waking hours doing this, to be honest with you. Can I also say hello to Tom? Hello to Tom Rocks. Hello to you as well. I woke up this morning, one of my teeth at the back, one of those large, big, fat teeth at the back of my mouth has started to hurt this morning. I don't know what it is or why it's doing it, but I woke up this morning with a little bit of toothache. And that is one of the reasons why I was slightly late today, to be honest with you. I was trying to stop my tooth from hurting. It's okay now. It's not too painful now. But earlier on, I was slightly worried. I thought I might have to go to the dentist for some emergency treatment. Can I say hello, Claudia? Hello to Claudia. Thank you very much for watching me today. It's so nice to see you here. We have Rosa. We have CS Pro. Hello to you. Thank you very much for your lovely comments on my anniversary. We are having a lovely, lovely day here, and I hope next week the weather will be nice. Don't forget Thursday. I will mention this a few times. We are with you on Thursday for the anniversary because there are only 4 days to go before the big anniversary. On the 31st of October, it will be 18 years on YouTube. Can you believe it? So just 4 days to go before we have the big celebration, and we are joining you live on Thursday from 2 p.m. UK time. So please look out for that. Mr. Steve is here very soon. We had the most glorious day yesterday. We went out for a lovely walk, Mr. Steve and myself. We had the most amazing autumn walk because the sun was out and everything was looking really nice. So in a few moments I am going to play some of the video that I recorded yesterday whilst out walking. Of course, as you know, I love talking about words and phrases in the English language. Here is an interesting word that we often use in English. The word is perspective. I will say it again, perspective. Perspective as a noun. So this particular word is used to name a type of viewpoint or maybe a type of action that you are doing quite often with viewing or when viewing something. So the word perspective is a noun. It is a way of regarding situations, facts, states or views. So you might say when you look at something, you have a perspective. So when you look at something, you see something, or maybe you see many things in a certain way. That is your perspective. The thing you see and the way it appears to you is perspective. You might say that it is one's view of a certain topic. That is also perspective. So the view that you have can be something you are physically looking at, or it can be the way you view something maybe from the past or something in your life. So it is a very interesting word, and we do use this word quite a lot when we are talking about opinions, the opinions that people can have about certain things. Also, perspective can relate to the regarding of a certain thing, such as another person's action. You will have your own perspective of that thing. So I think this is very interesting when we are talking about people's opinions, the way each person views something. So when you see something, quite often you will have your own point of view. That is your perspective. So the regarding of certain things, such as another person's action, the way you see what they are doing, your perspective on that thing. To have perspective of a situation, the correct viewpoint is often described as having perspective, something that shows, maybe in the form of an image. You can look at something, it has depth. Also, the way things are arranged, that is perspective. To be in perspective, to be viewed correctly. So quite often we will use the phrase in perspective. If you have something in perspective, it means you are viewing it in the correct way. Your viewpoint is accurate. It is right. It is possible to lose perspective when judging a current situation or a past event. So it is possible to have perspective, but also you can lose perspective as well. If you lose perspective, it means you have lost your ability to judge that particular situation. Your emotions are causing you to lose perspective. And quite often, when a person becomes emotional, they will quite often lose perspective. Their view of something will be affected by their emotions. It does happen a lot. Human beings quite often lose perspective. You might tell someone to keep things in perspective. This means you are asking the person to view things as they really are. So you might ask someone or tell them to keep it in perspective. You are saying, please see this thing realistically without adding your emotions. You must keep this problem in perspective, as it is not as bad as you think it is. This is something we do quite often when we react to something. When a person reacts to something, quite often we will lose perspective because our emotions take over. We stop thinking and we start feeling. We often think of negative emotions such as jealousy or anger. Those particular types of emotion can cause you and me to lose perspective of a situation. The perspective is the view as seen by someone, so it can be something you are actually looking at, your actual view or your viewpoint, such as a painting. Perhaps you look at a painting and you are considering what that painting means. You have your own perspective of that particular thing. Maybe if you go out to the countryside, you might have a wonderful perspective. You might have an excellent view of the landscape if you are standing in a beautiful place. A situation also has perspective, the way you view that particular thing. And of course, memories. Quite often, memories can be seen from a certain perspective, the way you remember things, the way those memories are played back, your own perspective of something that happened in the past. Or, of course, an action, something done by another person. Why did they do that? Why? What was the reason? You try to get perspective of that particular thing. So that particular word, that word can be used in many, many different ways. It is possible, of course, to gain perspective, as it is possible to lose perspective. So you can gain perspective, you can lose perspective. It is possible to do that. To keep perspective, to have perspective, to view something, you have perspective. And of course, to see something as it is, how it actually exists. You have perspective. An interesting word, and I do like to feature interesting words, so I hope that has been useful to you. If you want to review it later, of course you can watch this live stream again and follow that through. You are more than welcome to do it. The live chat is very busy. I have almost recovered from my horrible cold. Mr. Steve has also almost recovered as well. So we are both feeling rather well, and we are really, really excited because next week, anniversary, 18 years on YouTube. Can you believe it? We'll have a quick break and then I will prepare for Mr. Steve arriving. We have a lot of things to look at today. We have a look at the word closure. That is coming up today. Also, we are talking about something that not many people do anymore. It would appear that fewer and fewer people are now writing by hand. In fact, it has become such a big problem here in the UK. Many young people have lost or haven't even got the ability to write by hand. We will be looking at that a little bit later on. We are going to show you a sample of my handwriting and also Mr. Steve's handwriting as well. All of that coming up later on. Lots of things to come your way. This is English Addict on Sunday afternoon. Not British summertime anymore. It is now GMT. Keep it right here. Mr. Steve is coming up. The English Addict is with you today. I hope you're having a good one. It is Sunday. We are here, as I mentioned earlier. The time difference is just an illusion because we put the clocks back by 1 hour last night. So for some people, the time might be slightly different. Talking of someone who is always on time, always punctual. I like that word, punctual. If you are punctual, it means you always arrive on time. So today I was late, but this is the guy who is always here on time. We are talking the one, the only, Mr. Steve.
Hello, wonderful, beautiful viewers from across the globe. I say that most weeks, but particularly today because it's holiday time for the children. They're all off. People have been mentioning in the live chat, Christina works in a school. She's not working. Palmyra has mentioned it. And it always happens, doesn't it, at this time of the year? Sort of, we're always used to it here. Autumn, the kids are off. They've actually been off 2 weeks in some places here in the UK, which is very unusual.
2 weeks off?
Some of them have had 2 weeks off because the schools have decided they need 2 weeks off, probably to rest from the abuse they get from the children.
Okay, well, I guess that's one way of putting it, I suppose. By the way, this is Mr. Steve. He is someone who often says exactly what he thinks.
I do.
So take that as a kind of warning that Mr. Steve does sometimes say things, and then quite often I have to lie in bed at night worrying about the future of my YouTube career, just in case what Mr. Steve said has got me into trouble.
I've got better. At least I'm thinking before I say what I think now.
That's good.
Or at least if I'm not, I can stop myself, because we obviously don't want Mr. Duncan to get into trouble. But yes, wonderful to be here, to see you all. Lovely comments on the live chat. Everybody saying hello to each other, because we've got lots of new viewers on there, as we seem to get a lot these days, which is great. So if you are new, feel free, put any comments on the live chat. We want to know you're there. We want to know you're interested, and we want your input. So don't hold back. There's nothing to be afraid of,
yes,
because we're all very friendly, and everyone on the live chat is so lovely. And we've had people following us for many, many years, following Mr. Duncan anyway. And
talking of which, Steve, can I just mention again, on Thursday, we are here live on Thursday, Mr. Steve and myself, because we are celebrating the anniversary of all this, the channel that you are watching right now. 18 years on Thursday. It's also worth mentioning, I suppose, that I'm not here on Wednesday, but we are here live, myself and also Mr. Steve. So even though Mr. Steve this week is taking a rest, he will be joining us on the live chat on Thursday. I hope you can join us as well.
I've just found that out, so it's good to know, Mr. Duncan.
I did.
I won't make any plans for Thursday. I will be here.
We did talk about this.
I know,
earlier.
I'm joking, Mr. Duncan.
Okay, well, I don't know you're joking.
Well, I've just told you, so there you go.
Yes. You see, when you tell a joke or make a joke, sometimes you might make the other person have a slight heart attack, like just...
I was smiling as I said it.
Okay. I can never tell with you. So we are back together again. We have a lot to talk about today, Mr. Steve. We are looking at handwriting later on. Did you know that there are fewer and fewer people who can now write using a pen? Young people, apparently at school, very few young people actually use a pen for writing with. They don't write. They normally type or send messages on their phones. They very rarely actually write using a pen. And it's so bad. Now, this is here in the UK. I am pretty sure in other countries, Steve, that this is not the problem. But here, it would appear that young people have become a little bit lazy and they would prefer just to type and use their phones. But in fact, and I'm going to tell you something today, writing is one of the best ways to learn English. Now that sounds strange. You might be thinking, Mr. Duncan, how can that be so? How can that be a real thing? It is a real thing. Using a pen, writing something, copying something and writing it down is a very good way of learning a new skill. It is also very good for your brain, isn't it, Steve? So you are using your brain in a very special way because you are using your eyes, you are using your hands, and your brain is processing that information in a very special way.
Yes,
and if you do it lots of times, slowly your brain will be kind of rewired. It's true.
Yes, if you want to remember something, because I have to sing songs from memory and scripts, I'm in plays and whatever, as you all know, and amateur dramatics, and you have to learn these scripts, and the best way to learn it, and somebody told me years ago, is to write it down. If you write something down 3 times, say the words to a song, then you will almost certainly then remember it. That physical process of writing it down, your brain, as you say, Mr. Duncan, is doing different things. And when you write the words down, suddenly the meaning goes in, everything, and you remember it. So somebody always said to me, if you want to learn a song or some script, just write it down 3 times and concentrate as you do it, obviously, and then you will virtually always remember it then. And it does work. That's what I do.
Yes, and it's a very good way of learning anything that you want to retain as a memory or some sort of skill. So you write something down, you copy something, or maybe you write something that comes from your own mind. So anything you are doing, if you are writing, you are using your brain in a very particular way because you are thinking and writing and your brain is doing something rather strange.
It's the same if I want to do some things in the day. Say I want to clean the car, I want to buy something off Amazon, I want to learn some music. I will write those things down, and if I write them down, it's like it almost becomes real. There is some process that when you write something down on paper, it's almost as though you are doing it, and it sets up this process in your brain that you keep thinking about. And you've written that down. I must do that. I wrote it down, and it sort of sticks in your brain in some way. By the way, can I say to Giovanni Rivetti, it's saying ciao, come stai, and if I can remember right, if I want to reply to that, I would say sto bene, e tu, I think is the correct response to that. Please correct me if I'm wrong.
Isn't that great? So not only are we doing English here, we are doing Italian as well.
Just trying to remember some things that I learnt before we went to Italy. And Lean says, I look very fresh. Thank you very much. I don't smell very fresh. No, that's not true. I'm joking. But I hope I've made the correct...
Very strange things to joke about, saying that you stink.
Well, I was joking.
Yes.
I was joking. But that's what you say. That's a very modern... Oh, you look fresh. That's what you say now, isn't it, to people?
Well,
if you want to say you look good.
We've both recently recovered from our little colds that we had. So we're feeling much better, even though my throat is still a little strange. You might hear now and again my throat will break a little bit as I'm speaking. But
Christina says she writes everything down that she wants to do, helps me remember, and it gives you a focus as well, doesn't it? Yeah. And Christina, of course, you were talking about our children writing things down. Well, Christina works in a school. She said earlier, what's your experience? Are the students writing? Are they able to write? Do they write much? Or do they record all the lectures on their phone? Now, some people might do that because, of course, you can record everything on your phone now, can't you?
Yeah. Well, a lot of people choose to not actually use video, but they will use audio. So they will maybe have a recording device just for recording the sound, and then later they will play it back. And of course, these days you can play things back at different speeds. So if you want to listen to something very quickly, you can speed up the actual lecture or the thing that is being said. A little bit like on here, because on YouTube, if you want to listen to my voice, if you want to hear us speaking a little faster, you can actually increase the speed of the video ever so slightly, and you can make everything go by much quicker, which for many people is their dream, to be honest.
The students have horrible handwriting, says Christina. Philippe Barros. Hello, Philippe. Or is it Felipe? Philippe. Which English level is this live stream recommended? Philippe says that they are A2.
Well, I always say I've never said that this is for certain people. I always say that everything I do is for everyone. If you watch this and your English is basic, you can still follow, you can still listen. If your English is much better, or maybe you are at a higher grade, you can still watch and listen, because there will be things that you haven't heard before or seen before.
Different levels, isn't it? Different. There'll be some for beginners, some for medium, some for more advanced.
But I don't aim this at any particular group. I aim my lessons and my live streams at everyone. Everyone, whatever your level, wherever you are in the world, you can learn something from this.
Apparently my Italian was perfect, according to Claudio and Giovanni, and somebody else said it as well. So thank you very much for that.
We seem to have strayed off the topic, by the way, Steve.
I know, but I'm keeping up to date with the live stream and having my ego boosted, which is the main reason I come here, of course, on a Sunday. No, it isn't. It's to interact with you lovely people.
Steve, it's Sunday.
Pardon?
You just said Saturday.
Well, there we go. I see. I don't even know which day it is. You see, it's very advanced level. If you want to understand me, you've got to be at a very advanced level for Italian. I must say that for English, because a lot of people do sometimes say that they find it difficult to understand me, which is why I'm here. Mr. Duncan, much easier to understand me. I talk quickly, and sometimes you've got to. I'll try and be a bit clearer.
Okay, Steve. I think we've got that now. I think we've got it. Can we get back to our original subject, though, please?
Go on then.
I've been on for 50 minutes.
I've been digressing.
You have been going off in all sorts of directions. So a lot of people already talking about their handwriting, and I think it is a good subject to actually talk about. How good is your handwriting out there in YouTube land? We just had a comment that said, my writing is like a chicken scratching on the ground. I like that phrase. That's a good phrase, that is. I like that one. So how good is your handwriting? We are going to show you the handwriting of both of us in a moment, and I want you to guess which is which. So I'm going to show the handwriting of both of us in a few moments, and I want you to guess which is which. Also, we will have a look at how easy it is to read our handwriting. But it is interesting that very few people now, very few young people have a very good ability. They don't seem to have a very good ability when it comes to writing by hand.
I know, Bella. I know, but I agree, Bella. Yes, I get this all the time. Anyway, apparently, yes. Giovanni says, when we're speaking on the live stream, are we speaking at a normal pace for English people? Yes. Yes. The answer is yes, we are. We're not slowing down.
No. I get asked this all the time. Mr. Duncan, is this your natural speaking voice? Yes, it is. This is how I talk in real life, every day, all the time. And if you are teaching English, you have to make sure that people can understand you, or else you are wasting your time. I'm wasting my time and you're wasting your time. So that's the reason why. But of course, I have the skill as well, the ability to teach. So that is another part of it. Mr. Steve, however, his speech pattern is, well, let's just say it's Mr. Steve.
Well, you see, if you were to ask friends and work colleagues and people that know me, they would describe my accent as being posh. I've had all my parents used to speak quite poshly. They used to speak very, very clear, very good English,
yes,
which is what a lot of people used to when they sort of grew up around the time of my parents. And when I was at school, I was always...
Steve, can I just correct you there?
Here we go.
Regional accents, though, have always existed. So I think because you were raised and your parents spoke in a certain way, and you just copied the way they speak.
Well,
but
that's it.
Even at their time, around the country, there were different accents and different ways of speaking. So posh wasn't the way that everyone spoke in the UK. There have always been accents. Anyway,
but this is what So my speech is, as Mr. Duncan said, I would have picked that up from my parents. But generally, it's regarded as a posh accent.
Yes, but
what I have isn't a regional accent.
No, it's not. But it's also not typical.
It's I don't know. It's a typical sort of middle class sort of British accent.
It isn't typical. It's almost received, I think. Yours is almost received.
Well, it's typical of middle class people,
yes,
I would say,
yes,
which is essentially what I grew up in. Most British people would say I'd got a posh accent.
Okay.
Not posh to the level of, this is what I had it all the way through school, and work colleagues always say to me, oh, you're a bit posh, aren't you? They think I'm not really.
No.
It's just this is my accent that I picked up from my parents.
Trust me, if you ever watch Mr. Steve eating food, you will think he is definitely not.
Oh, I'm posh. Very refined, Mr. Duncan.
Okay, Steve.
Let's ask people who have met us.
Steve, can I move on with this?
Yeah, go on.
We've got another 40 minutes of this, and I've got 6 other topics to talk about. We're going to run out of time today, I'm sure we are. So, whose handwriting is it? Here we go, Steve. Back to the main part of this section. Whose handwriting is this? I'm going to show you some handwriting on the screen right now. Not for you, Steve. Don't you answer it. It's for the lovely viewers out there. I feel almost ashamed having to explain that. Here we go. So here's the first one. Whose handwriting is this? Don't say anything, Steve.
I'm not saying anything, Mr. Duncan. Don't worry.
And whose handwriting is this? So first of all, number 1 and number 2. Number 1. And as you can see, it says, this is a sample of my handwriting. The quick brown fox jumped over the lazy dog, which of course is a very special sentence. because it uses every letter in the alphabet. And this is number 2. So which is which? Number 1? Number 2? Which is which? Ooh, I wonder.
Well, if we have any graphologists watching,
Yes.
then they will be able to analyse our handwriting and tell us all about our character. Graphology used to be quite a popular thing to study. So it's sort of in the 80s, 70s and 80s, I remember when I was growing up. I think it's been sort of debunked a bit now. I don't think people take it too seriously.
Can I just say, no, it's actually become more precise now. There are ways now of working out a person's character, or maybe identifying certain traits or certain things from a person's handwriting. Well, I think it still exists as a type.
It still exists, I know, but I mean, companies used to use it. Yes. I remember when I first was applying for jobs, they used to ask for a sample of your handwriting, but all I know is that companies don't use it anymore because they haven't found it to be very reliable.
I'm on about police investigations. They still have forensic evidence is often based on certain things like handwriting or of course matching up the handwriting as well.
I'm not sure if that's I'm sure that's just not being used to analyse your character, I don't think. But
okay, Steve.
Anyway.
Are we just going to argue about this?
Well, I haven't heard anyone talking serious about graphology for a long time.
I read an article this morning about it.
Well, that's probably because you've... But is it reliable? Is it by a psychologist? Is it by...
Can I just say they're not locking somebody in prison based on their curly T's. There are other things as well that they use. So it's not just one thing. You have squiggly writing. Go to prison now. So I think there are other things taking place as well.
Well, maybe somebody who knows something about it can tell us. Is graphology taken seriously, and as it might be used along with other things to try and look at somebody's character?
Yes.
Traits.
Exactly.
But you wouldn't be used as a sole means of trying to analyse somebody's character, I wouldn't have thought. But yeah, by graphology, I mean, it's not to do with art. It's about looking at people's writing, whether it slants to the left or the right, all that sort of thing.
Yes.
And trying to look at, I mean, the simplest one it used to say is if your writing slopes to the right, you're supposed to be quite an outgoing personality.
Steve,
if you slope to the other way. That was some of the basics that they used to talk about.
Please, Steve, wait there a second. I'm going to talk all about this later.
Oh, right, I didn't know that. So, fine.
I did try to sort of... This is live, by the way. Here is a word that people don't use anymore, but I love this phrase. I love this word, Mr. Steve. There it is on the screen. Penmanship. You never hear anyone use this word anymore. And sometimes I am interested in words that people never use anymore, but I like this word. So when we talk about a person's penmanship, we are talking about the neatness of their writing, or how clear they print when they are writing. So I quite like that phrase. We don't really use it anymore, but you might compliment a person on their penmanship if they have very nice handwriting. Unlike this. So whose handwriting is this? And whose handwriting is this? So we have the first one, and that's the first one, and then we have the second one. But which one is which? We've had some guesses already. Some people saying that the first one is Mr. Steve. Interesting. Some people think the first one is Mr. Steve. We will reveal the answer to that in a few moments from now. We're coming up to 3 o'clock, by the way. 3 o'clock is on its way. We'll have a quick break so I can drink some water because my throat is so dry today. This is English Addict. You are watching on a Sunday afternoon with myself, Mr. Duncan, and also Mr. Steve. Keep it here.
I'm a big boy now.
We are here today live in the studio, and I hope you are having a good Sunday where you are. English Addict is here. By the way, can I just mention that we do have a big celebration taking place on Thursday, 18 years of this, can you believe? Also joining me today we have Mr. Steve. Mr. Steve is here today as well. Apparently Mr. Steve looks fresh today. Everyone's saying you look very fresh.
Well, one person said that.
But you look very fresh anyway, to me as well. And you even smell fresh because I had a little sniff earlier when you weren't looking. We are looking at handwriting. Here we go then. This is the moment of truth where we find out whose handwriting was whose. First of all, this one, well, I have to say, this is my handwriting. This is what my handwriting looks like. I think my handwriting is not great. I have to be honest with you. It's not the best handwriting in the world. It might even be described as slightly untidy. Mr. Steve's handwriting, which of course is the second one, Mr. Steve's looks more stylish. I like Mr. Steve's handwriting. Sometimes when a person has messy handwriting, or if their handwriting is untidy, we often say that that person should be a doctor. There is a reason for that, isn't there, Steve?
Yes, because doctors have to normally write things very quickly. And writing prescriptions, they haven't got much time. So doctors' writing is traditionally thought of as being bad, and people often. I'm not a doctor. In fact, I changed my handwriting when I went to college when I was 18. Because in those days, when you had a lecture, you had to write down what the lecturer was telling you, and I couldn't write fast enough. So I actually adopted some methods of being able to write quicker. So my writing's actually changed quite a lot from before I went to college and afterwards, so that I could write very quickly. Like a doctor.
So whenever you see the doctor writing something, or the writing that is being done by a doctor, quite often it is just a mess. You can't actually read what it says. So we often make a joke about that. When we see a person's handwriting, we might say, you should be a doctor because your handwriting is terrible. So I think my handwriting is not as good as Mr. Steve's. In fact, when I was at school, I was so thick at school, I really was. Mr. Steve is the clever one in this game, and I'm the backward person, to be honest, because I couldn't write very well when I was at school, at primary school. I couldn't read very well. I had to have lots and lots of extra lessons. A lot of people don't know that, but I did have quite a few difficulties. And here I am now in my later life, trying my best to make up for it, and quite often failing miserably. But at least I have Mr. Steve here to put me right. Isn't that right, Steve?
Yes, and I have you to put me right. Which you often do. But anyway, that's another story.
Sometimes. Well, I think one of the reasons why Mr. Steve looks fresh, by the way, today, is because he's having a week off. He's having a week off from work.
I'm off work. It's wonderful. Fabulous feeling. And the weather's going to be nice, hopefully.
Yes.
And I just thought, I've got 5 days to use up. Do you often get to that position where towards the end of the year you've got holiday to use up, and if you don't use it, you lose it? And this is what's happened with me. So I'm using up 5 days holiday before the end of the year.
Good. So we are hoping to spend a couple of days having some nice sunlight on our faces to make us feel much better. Of course, the days now are going to be very short. So whilst I'm doing today's live stream, outside it will start to get dark from now on as the winter months approach. Did you know, Mr. Steve, there is a place in one of the Norwegian islands called Longyearbyen. Apparently Longyearbyen is one of the Norwegian archipelagos, which is a type of grouping of islands. And on one of those islands, or on those groups of islands that I've just mentioned, yesterday was the start of their dark period of time. Can you guess how long they will now be in darkness for? So this is a place called Svalbard, or Svalbard is the name of the place, Steve. Svalbard. And it's one of these Norwegian areas, a little group of islands, and it's way up in the north. And apparently it is not going to get light in that particular place until the 15th of February next year.
No sun at all?
No. The sun will disappear and they won't be able to have any sunlight, no natural sunlight, and it will stay gloomy for 111 days. Apparently this is unique for this part of the world because it's in a particular place. As you know, Mr. Steve, in the north and south, the days and nights are long at certain times of the year. Even here we have that same problem.
Because of the tilt of the earth.
But this particular place will have 111 days of darkness, no sunlight whatsoever.
I bet their electricity bills are high.
Yes, I don't think I could do that. I couldn't live with no sunlight or lightness for 111 days.
It probably isn't pitch black, is it? It's probably sort of like twilight. Is it? Because I would imagine the sun sort of comes. They must get sunlight. Are they saying it's completely pitch black?
Apparently they're in constant twilight.
Constant twilight. There we go. Yes.
So it goes on for all that period of time. But of course, we like to see the sunlight, don't we, Steve? It gives our brains something to think about. It also helps our body clocks to function as well. So yes. I would imagine a lot of people must go completely crazy.
I would imagine if many generations you've been brought up there, you're used to it. But yes, if say you and I from a country or somebody from Italy maybe went to live somewhere like that, the lack of light would cause this SAD disorder, seasonal affective disorder, which they claim people get. I don't know if it's been proved that if you don't get enough sunlight, then you can become sort of emotionally, psychologically quite affected by it. And you can buy these light boxes, can't you, that are supposed to help. I don't know if it's been proved that they do, but I mean, it makes sense, doesn't it? If you're not getting enough light, buy a light and sit by it. It's got to be particular frequencies, I think, but it could be because you're not getting enough vitamin D. But anyway, we're not going into that. We're talking about writing. I'm digressing again. But yes. Anybody got a light box that they sit by in the winter? Probably not if you're living in India, of which we've got quite a few people watching us from India. But yeah, the further you are away from the equator, then you're going to have shorter and shorter days at certain times of the year.
Good. That's all clear. Good. No interruptions.
Moving on.
I'm moving on, Mr. Steve. So your handwriting. There are of course ways of studying handwriting. We have something called graphology.
Oh,
which I believe, I think Mr. Steve mentioned this earlier, didn't you, Steve? Graphology.
I did mention it earlier.
So this is not the same as calligraphy. And I think that's where some people are getting the confusion. So it's not calligraphy, that is actually the style of writing. Graphology is the study of writing, or to be more precise, handwriting. So you can look at something. Quite often you can tell something from the way a thing is written. I would imagine if someone saw my handwriting, Steve, they would probably say, this guy is completely nuts.
Well, it's there now for all to see.
Yes.
So if somebody does, I used to be quite into graphology. I've got a couple of books on it, and I used to, because I remember a company that I used to work for used to ask you to write something in your handwriting, and they would send it to the HR department, and somebody there would try and interpret it as part of the assessment for interview, whether you were going to be whether you're a psycho or something, because supposedly you can tell certain psychological traits or behavioural traits from your handwriting, but they stopped doing it after a number of years because, as I said earlier, I think it's a bit unreliable. But you probably can. I don't know how seriously it's taken now. You said you've done some reading on it. I don't know. It might be used still as a part of a assessment process, but you wouldn't. I think at one point they thought you could virtually tell everything about your character from your handwriting, and you probably can tell certain things. I'm not saying there's nothing in it at all. There probably is something in it, because let's face it, if you're right, it's bound to come out. Your character comes out in many different ways, doesn't it, Mr. Duncan? It comes out in the way you express yourself, in the way you speak. It shows what your character is like, the way you dress, everything. So why wouldn't your handwriting maybe give some clues as to your state of mind at that time, or your character?
I think the analysis is in a similar way to dreams, in that same sort of thing, because it's kind of a projection of yourself. And I think you are right, but in certain types of psychology, or if they're investigating crimes, they're often still interested in that type of person. Now, I'm not saying that you can read everything about a person, but certainly someone who may have, what's the word I'm looking for? Problems. That's probably the best way of putting it without offending anyone.
I think graphology has been sort of consigned to the sort of pseudoscience
So a graphologist can work out clues from a person's handwriting. So not everything about that person. That's what I was leading on to earlier. So it's clues. It's not everything. So you're not going to look at someone's handwriting and then just assume they are a murderer. But if you have other evidence, that can be part of that evidence. So it wouldn't be everything. You wouldn't be sent to prison because your writing looks like a spider has crawled over the page, but it might also help to understand a person's overall character. But I find that quite interesting, and the reason why I mention this today, Steve, is because few people, in fact, they're going to start giving extra lessons in schools for handwriting. And it would appear that it's almost like an art form that's slowly fading away. And I can see why. Of course, I'm not being judgmental, because I can see why that would happen. I could see why handwriting would fade away. But as I said earlier, it is one of the best ways of remembering things, as Steve said, but also of learning things as well. It is a great way of putting information into your brain. So I do strongly suggest it.
I find now if I have to write for any period of time, my fingers ache. I used to be able to write for hours. But someone who's a teacher on here, what do children do now in lectures? Do they write things down now in a book? Like we used to when I grew up. We had exercise books and you wrote everything down. Do they still do that in schools now? I'd like to know. But maybe they don't.
It is almost like a dying art form or a dying type of
it's like a bit like mental arithmetic or the times tables, being able to work out percentages and things like that in your head.
Well, there are some videos talking of maths, because maths is very similar to writing. If you're writing words or writing sentences, maths as well, mathematics. And what I was going to say is, I don't know if you've seen those videos, Steve, on the internet, but there are classrooms full of kids. And I think this is normally in places like China, for example, some Asian countries, where the kids don't use paper or even calculators or anything to work out the answers to mathematical problems. They simply use their fingers. I don't know if you've seen any of these videos, but it's almost like some sort of strange magic. And they can do it. And they do it at this incredible speed. So what the kids do, they sit there behind the desks and they're being asked to answer lots of mathematical problems in a very short period of time. And instead of using a pen or a calculator, they just do this. And they do this. And they can work out the answers to the sums.
I've never heard of that, Mr. Duncan.
It is the most bizarre thing, and guess what? They are actually correct doing it. They've learnt a method where you can do this, and you are actually almost using your hands like an old-fashioned abacus.
Oh, I wonder what that's called.
I don't know. There is a method to it, but it is the most amazing thing I've ever seen. Now, when we think about schools in this country, the level of maths is not very high. But in other countries, the kids can just do this. They do this, and they can work out mathematical problems.
I would like to learn that skill.
Yes.
You might look a bit... Yeah, you might. CS Pro is saying that at college, some of us still write down notes by hand. And Nitram is saying that some people write on a tablet with a digital pen. But do people... I'm surprised people don't use their phones to... Maybe they're not allowed to have phones in the school, because some schools do take the phones off the children before they go into class now. Certainly here in the UK, some schools do that. Don't know if they all do it.
Yeah.
But you would think maybe they would record the lesson on the phone. Maybe that doesn't work very well.
Yes.
Because you can, like with Mr. Duncan's live streams, it will automatically, there is a program in there in YouTube that will convert the speech into writing for the subtitles. So that must be available on your phone. I'm surprised people don't do that. Maybe they do. Do they? Do you think people are recording lectures on their phone and listening to them?
I think because of the different types of technology we have, there are many different ways of doing it. But apparently this is called mental abacus. Someone's
right.
told us it's the mental abacus. And you are using your fingers. So I'm right what I said. It does look like they are using an abacus, which is an old-fashioned type of machinery. It is all mechanical, and you would use that for working out the answers to sums. So they are using their fingers almost like an abacus, but they do it at the most crazy speed. So now we know what it's called, the mental abacus.
I'm going to look that up.
Yes. It's quite
mental abacus.
It is mind-blowing to watch. And when you think about the difference between those kids and the ones in this country, it's a little bit shocking, actually.
That's a skill worth having, isn't it?
Very, very.
I think that's a skill worth having.
Very much. John Hancock. Yes, we often refer to a person's signature as their John Hancock. It's very interesting, but apparently his handwriting was so unusual and distinctive that's why they call it a John Hancock when you sign your name. What do you think about graffiti? Farry Bortz asks, what do you think about graffiti? So when you talk about graffiti, I suppose you mean spraying words and painting pictures on the sides of buildings or the sides of anything really, railway trains. I remember when we were in France, Steve, a lot of the trains, as they went along the track, they would all have graffiti all along the sides of them. It's almost as if lots and lots of youngsters or artists, as they like to call themselves nowadays. Oh. I don't think graffiti is art, by the way.
Yes, when does graffiti change from being vandalism to being art?
Yes. So I think it is a social problem from my point of view.
But a lot of people pay huge sums of money for a particular artist who is essentially a graffiti artist called Banksy.
Yes.
Here in the UK. I mean, you could describe that as being graffiti, but it's sort of art. Well, I think it is art. I'm not going to be unkind.
Yeah.
But is that... I mean, that's obviously set up now. But yeah, when does graffiti become art?
Yeah. Well, there are places now in cities where they have an area where people can just go and spray their graffiti everywhere. So from my point of view, I think if it is done on other people's property, it is not good. However, if it is done in an artistic way, in a certain place, put aside for graffiti to be done, then it's okay. But if you're living in a house and someone is spraying rude words on the front of your house or on a building that you own, then it can be quite annoying, especially if it's something rude. Fortunately, we don't have graffiti around here. We just have woodpeckers. That's the nearest we have to graffiti around here. Just woodpeckers pecking away at the trees. This is English Addict. Today with you, I hope you've managed to find us, because a few people, I would imagine, have had difficulty today, Steve, because we are on at a different time, because we've moved the clocks back as we enter into winter time. Here's an interesting word Now, you know I love words, Steve. I really do. I love words so much. I wish I could marry all of them, but I can't. They won't let me. Here's an interesting word that we often use when we are facing problems in life, or maybe a situation that we want to put aside, or maybe something we are trying to resolve or put right. And this is a word that we actually used this morning, and I thought it was a good word. Here it is, Steve. The word is closure. Closure. So this is actually a noun, and it is used quite often when we are talking about situations, problems, something that is on your mind, or maybe something that has been unresolved for a long time. So generally speaking, the word closure can mean to end or close a long-term situation. So as you can see on the pictures, you have closure there. The situation or the action is being named. Closure, the action of something being closed. We are using it as a noun to show that something has come to an end. You have ended something. You have closed that thing. You have closure. Of course, like with many words in English, there are many ways of using that particular word. To make your peace with something. So I like this phrase, Mr. Steve, to make your peace with something. Could you explain that for us, Steve?
Yeah, so say you've been through a difficult situation. Maybe somebody's died that's very close to you, and you weren't able to say goodbye to them, maybe something like that. And you want to get closure on that, and maybe you go and talk to somebody that knew them very well. You want to express your feelings. Maybe you didn't get to say things to them that you wanted to while they were alive. Maybe you had something difficult happen at work, and maybe you were sacked unfairly, and you felt you'd been very unfairly treated, and to get closure you wanted to go to a tribunal and have it all talked out. But yeah, you want to mentally, because you might be in situations like that when something happens, when you've got something that's unresolved. Something happens and you're not able to resolve it at that particular time. You're not able to conclude whatever's happening at that particular point.
Yes.
And it's troubling you. And you might be having sleepless nights. You might be all sorts of thoughts going over in your head. And you want some way of ending that internal stress.
So in that sense, you make your peace.
You want to make your peace. You want, as we say, the word, you want to get closure so that you can then move on with your life and not be constantly worried or bothered or stressed over something that you weren't able to resolve or come to a conclusion at that particular moment in time.
So this is quite a big topic, and this word does cover many different types of situations. So maybe something that has left you feeling upset or traumatized.
Yes.
A bad occurrence, something that's happened in your life, and you might try to get help from a professional, and you want to have closure on that particular thing, to make peace with that particular thing. Maybe you've had an argument with someone. You've had an argument or a fight with someone, and you feel bad about it. For many, many days, or maybe even many months, you think about it, and you feel as if you want to have closure. You want to somehow bring yourself and the person you had the disagreement with back together. You want to make peace with that person.
Yes.
You want to have closure on that argument.
I mean, an example I'll say, it sounds a bit morbid, but as people who watch this regularly will know, my mother died a couple of years ago, just over 2 years ago. And we knew that she was terminally ill, but when she did die, it was a surprise. It happened very suddenly. And I was very upset at the time because I wasn't able to get there in time to say goodbye to my mother. So that really upset me at the time. So to try and get some closure from that, I went to go and see my mother. They prepared my mother. As you know, you can go to the place of rest before the body is buried, and you can, and I wanted to go there to talk to my mum to try and get some closure. It did help a bit. It didn't help very much, but that I thought would give me some closure. That's just one example of maybe something unresolved that you want to try and resolve.
I think that's an interesting one, actually, because deep emotional problems or things that have affected you, quite often we will try to find some sort of closure. You want to resolve that thing because, well, I suppose the alternative is you carry on going through life troubled by that thing. So it can be anything, to be honest. It can be any situation that you wish to bring to an end, or if you want to stop something from worrying you or bothering you, you try to find some sort of closure to resolve a long-term problem. So again, when we talk about long-term, we are talking about something that is going on for a long period of time. It is long-term. So you want to resolve, you want to put that thing right. You want to have closure.
Of course, it's not always possible. Nitram points this out. It's not always possible to get closure on things. So you have to find another way of dealing with that. But particularly if that person isn't here anymore, then it's just the passage of time, as they say. Time heals all wounds. By the way, is a well-known phrase.
We have Lewis here, by the way. I haven't said hello to you. Lewis Mendez is here today. Lewis says, is closure the same as mourn? So if you mourn someone or mourn something, you are thinking about that loss. You are paying respects. Now, I would say that's not the same thing, but having the feeling of doing that thing after is closure.
Yes. So
it is kind of the result of mourning. You think about that person, you think about them, you miss them, and you feel as if somehow your mind has been freed from that thing. So we might describe that as a type of closure, because it's almost like getting something out of your system, out of your mind. You have closure. You are making your peace. You are bringing closure on a certain thing. So I think a bit like what Steve just said about when your mum passed, you needed some sort of resolution or some sort of ending to it, so you can move on with your life. But I know it's a big topic to be discussing on a Sunday afternoon.
Yeah. So if you were mourning, then you would maybe want to get closure. So yes, the closure is the sort of the end of the mourning in a way, which of course is what funerals are all about. They are designed to help people overcome that mourning process and maybe get some closure. Because then in a funeral, people will talk about that person's life, and it's a process to go through to help people overcome that mourning process. I mean,
Yeah.
it's not necessarily going to work straight away, but it's a part of the process
Yes.
of trying to help people get closure. It's not closure. Getting closure isn't just about people dying. There are other. You might have, as Mr. Duncan said, you might have had an argument with somebody, a family member, and you walked out. You had a nasty argument on the phone or in person, could be with a friend, and instead of resolving it there and then, one of you got angry and you walked off or had a fight, and then you didn't speak to each other for months or weeks or years. I mean, this happens in families, doesn't it? People have these family conflicts and then they don't talk to each other for years. But then at some point you might feel you want some closure because it's constantly nagging away in your brain, causing you stress. So you might then try and build some bridges to try and resolve that conflict that occurred.
Well, this brings us on to the final sentence from this particular word. Emotional closure is probably the one many people think of. So a type of resolving up here. And I suppose in your heart as well, your feelings. So it is about releasing the stress or the pressure, or I don't know. It's a very interesting type of action. And I think everyone at some point in their life has to face a moment where they need closure on something. It can be anything, a bad experience from your childhood. Maybe you need to speak to a professional about it, like a psychiatrist or a counsellor. So there are many ways of having closure, emotional closure, something that you've been taking with you through your life. And I would say it's also a very important thing to have as well, to get to that point where you are able to have closure. I think it is a very important part of life.
But Bella says you might want that at the end of a romance.
Oh my God, Mr. Yes.
Yes, particularly if a romance doesn't end amicably.
Says they often don't end amicably.
So, you might, but of course, as Nitram has said, it's not always possible to get closure. In fact, he quotes from that series which we used to find quite funny in the first few series with Sheldon. What's the one with that Sheldon in it and his group of scientists?
The Big Bang Theory.
The Big Bang Theory. There we go. The Big Bang Theory, where Amy tries to help Sheldon get over his compulsive need for closure. Yes, it's not always possible.
No.
And the important thing is do you build up these mental scars in your brain throughout life, or do you find some way of coming to terms with these things? I carry everything around with me. Baggage, isn't it? You can, the longer you live, you can, if you're not careful, get a whole load of baggage, as we call it. It's like you're pulling along.
Yes.
And it sort of weighs you down, all these worries and troubles and unresolved conflicts.
Emotional baggage.
Emotional baggage. And some people are very good at getting rid of that. Other people are not. If you're the sort of person that lives in the present moment, then you're probably very good at getting rid of these conflicts.
Yes.
But if you're not, maybe you won't.
Yes. But I think everyone has their own way of doing this as well. Closure can be something you do over a period of time. I think Lewis said that. So it does take a while. Sometimes as you become, I don't know, more, I want to say happy, you become happy with a situation. Not necessarily happy, but you become more, I suppose, calmer. You become calmer about it. You become more relaxed about a certain thing, something that's caused you problems.
Now, here's something that Giovanni has put on the live stream, and I've heard this said before. if you've got conflicts or worries and problems, and this is referring back to what we were talking earlier about handwriting, the importance of writing things down sometimes as a method for trying to overcome these issues, then they do recommend you have a journal. This is a psychological technique that I've seen and read about, that if you've got problems and things on your mind that are going over and over and over, then you should write them down in a journal, maybe, because that is a way of getting it from out of here and onto something, a hard copy.
Yes.
And it helps in releasing that from your brain. That is a known method of trying to overcome these kinds of issues. So thanks for putting that on.
It's almost like witchcraft or some sort of voodoo magic, where you take something and then you burn it, and it's supposed to represent the disappearance of something. That's what they often say after you break up with someone in a relationship. You take all of their love letters and you burn them. You burn them all. And some people do that. They actually do that. They take all of the things that remind them of that previous relationship, and they just set fire to all of those things. They burn them, and afterwards they feel almost cleansed. So I'm not saying that that's what you should do out there. Please don't start setting fire to things, and don't say that Mr. Duncan told you to do it, because I didn't. I told you not to do it.
Lean's getting closure from watching our live streams.
What? Is that good or bad?
I'm not sure. You can say it. There's a little smiley emoji there, but I'm not sure what you're getting closure from.
Yes, I dread to think.
If we're helping in some way in making you feel happy, then that's a positive thing.
Yes. So there are many ways of resolving these things, and I think closure is a very good word to look at, to be honest. We're having a quick break, and then we are back again. We are looking at words, or should I say phrases related to the word top. I wasn't sure if I'd have time to do this, and it would appear that we do. So that is coming up next. But first of all, enjoy a little bit of myself and Mr. Steve playing around on the beach. English Addict is with you live from England. English Addict is with you today. It's not just me, it's also Mr. Steve is with us as well. We are with you for around about another 15 minutes, and then we will go. Don't forget, we are with you on Thursday this week, not Wednesday. There is no live stream on Wednesday, but there is one on Thursday. We are celebrating the big one, once again, every year on the 31st of October. We always celebrate this because we have the big celebration of the anniversary of the start of this YouTube channel. Just 4 days to go before we do that, and we will be with you live on the 31st of October, which is this Thursday. We are with you live, having a little bit of fun on Thursday. I will be here, and also Steve will be here as well, helping us celebrate, commemorate the anniversary.
Is it Halloween as well? What?
Yes. Yes.
When's Halloween? It's around that time, isn't
day.
it?
Yeah, it's the same day.
The same day.
Yes.
All right. Yes. So you can have a double celebration then. We'll celebrate Halloween and Mr. Duncan's 18 years on YouTube.
Yes.
So yeah, maybe we'll be dressed up in scary costumes.
Yes. I don't think I will need to do that. I think I'm already scary looking already. I think my face should be enough to scare everyone.
Bye, Lewis.
See you later.
Nitram wants us to dress up, so maybe we will.
Do you remember that time that you and I we dressed up? I was dressed as Frankenstein. Not Frankenstein. People always make that mistake, including me. Frankenstein's monster. I was dressed as, and I can't remember what you. Mr. Steve was dressed like someone who'd just been attacked. You had lots of scars and cuts all over your face. Not real ones, of course, but we did that 1 year. We haven't done it since. But yes, it is also Halloween on Thursday as well.
Well, people definitely want us to do something special on. Well, if it's Halloween, yeah, we could do a double celebration. I think we should do that, Mr. Duncan.
Well, we will see what happens.
We'll see what happens.
I am a busy man at the moment. I'm doing quite a few things, in fact. Here are some phrases to finish today's live stream. It has been a busy one. We've talked about lots of things, and you will be able to watch this again later. If you've missed anything, you can watch it all over again. Words and phrases connected to... I'm panicking now. Do you know why I'm panicking, Steve?
Well, while you sort that out, maybe I could mention as well that we have had a request to bring back fill in the blanks.
Oh,
which is something we used to play, didn't we? At the end, towards the end of our live streams, where we would put a few letters up of words. And then we would ask you to guess what the whole word was. Well, maybe we'll bring that back in the future, which would be quite nice, I think, because it was good for me as well. Because half the time, you wonderful people used to get the word before I did, which was I always found would be quite interesting. Yeah, what should we dress up in? We will have fog and mist everywhere. And we will scare you all, stupid. And maybe we will do a trick and treat as well. We'll have lots of sweets and things to entertain you with on Thursday. We'll be here on Thursday live celebrating two things: Mr. Duncan's 18 years and 18 years. I bet some people watching us. Who's watching us? Who is only 18 or under 18 at the moment, who doesn't even remember when Mr. Duncan started doing his live streams. Some people have been alive longer than you've been, shorter than you've been doing, longer than you've been doing live streams, Mr. Duncan.
I have a feeling there might be a lot of people who are shorter than this.
And and we can get ready. If you've been watching Mr. Duncan for 18 years, we'll give you a special shout out on Thursday.
Yeah, a special award.
A special award on Thursday. So be prepared. If you have been following Mr. Duncan for 18 years,
yes,
or even not for that long, whoever's been following Mr. Duncan for the longest, we'll give you a special prize, maybe a kiss.
I don't know how you prove that.
I don't, but
I don't know how
we'll
you
know.
prove it. But anyway, here we go. I found it. You know what I did? I did not put it into the computer. I had it. I made it earlier, but I forgot to put it into my computer program. So if the picture was going a bit strange then, that's because I was doing something else, trying to put everything right. Here we go then, Mr. Steve. And we have words, or phrases, should I say, phrases connected to the word top. And as you can see there, can you see what I've done there? We have a lovely mountain going right across the screen. All of the hours it takes designing all of this. Top phrases. So these are phrases all using the word top. For example, do you like this one, Steve? Now, this is something that we both suffer from, Mr. Steve and myself. To be thin on top. If you are thin on top, that means you are losing your hair. You are slowly maybe going bald, or maybe you have little hair or not much hair on your head. We can describe that person as going thin on top. Some people, of course, go thin on top at a very young age. My father did. My father was already losing his hair when he was 19. Can you believe that? So it can happen. Here's another one. Oh, I like this one, Steve. A positive one. To be on top of the world. That's a good one, isn't it, Steve?
That's a good one. Yes, it means you're feeling really good, really positive, happy. Something might have happened in your life. You might have got a raise at work. You might have just got married. Something good is happening in your life. You feel euphoric. You feel positive. You feel alive. You feel on top of the world. Of course, you know what happens. Everything that goes up must come down.
Yes.
And everything that goes down must come up. So you never stay on top of the world for long.
No.
It's always a bad sign, actually. If you're feeling really good and positive and in a good mood, you know it's probably not going to last. But at the same time, when you're feeling very depressed and low, you know that's not going to last as well.
Especially in Mr. Steve's world.
A song by the Carpenters, apparently. Oh, yes, Top of the World, yes.
I'm on the top of the world, looking down on creation, and the only explanation I can find is the love that I found ever since you've been around. Your love's put me at the top of the world. That sort of thing.
That's the song. Giovanni says, I've learnt the phrase, top up my mobile phone.
Oh, yes. That's a good one.
That's a good one.
To top up means to put something back or replace something or to fill something up. You top up.
Normally, with respect to the phone, it means you're putting some credit or some money into your account.
Yes.
Doesn't it? It's not referring to charging up the battery.
No.
It's when you say top up my mobile phone, it's usually referring to putting some credit into your account so that you can carry on using it. Which of course is different to recharging it, which means putting some energy in the battery.
Yes, it's quite a good one. Here's another one, Steve. Over the top. A lot of people say that I am sometimes over the top. I do things in a rather dramatic way. Sometimes I exaggerate my actions. You might describe that person as being too enthusiastic or too excited. They are a little bit over the top. Too much of something. Too much of a person's character or too much of a particular thing.
Something you're wearing, it might be very outlandish. And somebody might say, well, that's a bit over the top.
Yes.
Particularly if it's not appropriate for the situation that you're going to. So, yeah, over the top.
That's a good one.
Overblown. too much.
If you are coming towards the end of something or you are completing something, we often use the word top off. Now, I know what you're thinking, Steve. You are thinking of something else. We're not going to talk about that one. But to top off is to finish or complete something, quite often with a building. When you get to the highest point of a building, you will normally have a topping off ceremony where the last part of the building, the highest point, is actually placed on top. So we often call it a topping off or a top off ceremony, and that is the highest point of a building when it's being constructed. So you will put the last piece in place. It doesn't mean anything else. I know in British English it can mean something else, but we're not going to talk about that because I like
no idea.
I like to stay on YouTube. You might do something, Steve, off the top of your head. You do something off the top of your head. Any ideas?
Do something off the top of your head. It just means that, yeah. Oh, well, maybe you've been asked to. Maybe suddenly you're at work, and somebody says, "Oh, can you just? I want you to give a speech, a talk to the other members of the team on something, whatever that might be," and you decide not to do any preparation whatsoever. And you just decide to do it off the top of your head. It just means it means no preparation. You're just using whatever knowledge you've already got, and you just do it off the top of your head.
Yes.
So you just do it without any preparation or thought beforehand.
So it's a spontaneous thought, something you are thinking at that time, but you might also be unsure as well. So to say something that you might be unsure about, you are saying it off the top of your head. You're not sure exactly what it is or how much that thing will be or what the result will be, but you are kind of thinking, well, maybe off the top of my head I would say it will be ready on Friday.
Yes, you're not given any time to think about it.
Yes. So
yes, you're not being given time to think about it. Somebody might ask you a question. Oh, what do you think should be our plans for next year for increasing sales? Your boss might come to you and say, your manager might come to me, for example, in December and say, what are your plans for next year to increase sales? And I might, he's given me no time to think. I might say, well, off the top of my head, maybe I can go and see some new customers. That's an example.
Yes, it's quite a good one. And I think this will be the last one before we go. To top and tail something. If you top and tail something, it means you are shortening it. You are making it more manageable. You might top and tail something. So maybe you are shortening something from the top and also from the bottom. You top and tail something. You are maybe tidying something to make it look neater. You top and tail. It's a very interesting phrase, often used as a phrasal verb. You top and tail something.
Lean says, I can't stand my friend being over the top. Yes, sometimes in the right context it can be acceptable, but obviously sometimes it can be. You see, you might like Mr. Duncan being over the top here, but if you met him in real life, you might not like it. Depends on the situation. Although where you are
in real life, I have to say, if you've met me, a lot of people have met me in real life when we have our little rendezvous. We meet up. So yes, I'm normally not quite as wild as this, although I can be. But yes, sometimes I will be a little more. What's the word? Normal. Maybe.
A couple of other examples here. If you were to top somebody, that means to kill them.
Yes, Steve. That's literally the thing I wasn't going to.
Oh, right, okay. Top notch.
Okay.
Top notch means the best quality. A top notch meal means that's top notch. That was the best quality meal you could have.
Yes, high quality. Something is top notch.
Or you can describe a person, a top man. Oh, you're a top man. You are. That means you're a very good person. Well, not necessarily good, but you're good at what you do.
Yes, you're good at that particular thing.
You're good at that particular thing.
Of course, you can also be top of the class as well. If you are one of the best students in the classroom, we can say that you are top of the class.
Who's top of this class, do you think, Mr. Duncan?
I don't know. I wouldn't like to say.
No, because if you did, some people might get upset and then they'd want closure.
Yeah. Talking of which, we are actually approaching our own closure of this live stream. Ooh, fancy. So we will be back with you. Can I just remind you, we are back with you on Thursday. I'm also reminding Mr. Steve as well. Steve, we are here on Thursday together. Don't forget.
I've got nothing to do on Thursday, so I'll be here.
Good.
And maybe I will read a scary story, as has been suggested by Giovanni. Maybe I'll do that, and maybe we will dress up and just have some kind of, funny theme for Halloween.
Or maybe we don't do it. We are celebrating 18 years on YouTube on Thursday. That is why we are doing a special live stream on Thursday. Thank you, Mr. Steve. He will be back with us on Thursday. I'm here on Thursday. We are here together.
It's been fun. Thank you for your contributions in the live chat, and see you on Thursday.
Yes. And that, as they say, is that from Mr. Steve. See you later. Thank you very much. And I know what you're going to do now.
I'm going to make a cup of tea, and I'm going to put some hot cross bun bread into the toaster and have it with lots of butter.
Thank you very much, Mr. Steve. See you on Thursday.
Bye.
That was Mr. Steve. He's gone now, but don't worry. He'll be back on Thursday, and we'll do this all over again. How does that sound? Does that sound like a good idea? I think so. I mentioned earlier that it will start getting dark earlier outside. Well, I'm going to show you now. I'm going to quickly show you the view outside, if I can find it. The view outside right now, it is getting dark outside, and I will prove it to you right now. So there is the view outside right now. You can see the sun has begun to set. It is now going down, and the dark evenings have arrived as winter also arrives as well. Of course, we have autumn before that. Autumn is a great time of year, and yesterday we were out and about capturing some lovely sights of the autumn leaves and all the beautiful colours. So I will leave you with that. Thank you for watching. See you later. In fact, I am back on Thursday from 2 p.m. UK time with a special live stream celebrating 18 years on YouTube. Have a good day. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday. I hope this has been interesting. You can watch this again with captions later. And of course, until the next time we meet here, you know what's coming next. Yes, you do. Stay safe, stay happy, keep that smile upon your face as you walk amongst the human race. And of course, you know what's coming next. Ta-ta for now. See you on Thursday.